Hello and welcome to Nationwide on Nigeria's largest television network, the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. The Minister of Energy, Industry and Mineral Resources of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Khalid Al-Falih, has assured Nigeria that a memorandum of understanding will be signed by the two countries to begin infrastructure development in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Correspondent Lydia Sampson reports from Riyadh that the minister gave the assurance at a meeting with Nigeria's Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Emmanuel Ibe Kachuku.
Nigeria and Saudi Arabia have enjoyed good bilateral relationship for decades, with Nigeria delegation to holy pilgrimage annually among the highest in the world. Therefore, the visit of the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Emmanuel Ibe Kachuku, is in consolidation of such age-long relationship.
Refineries are key, LNG is key, trading definitely key, create the necessary links.
I would like to broaden our cooperation to look at Africa broadly and maybe surrounding countries to Nigeria.
The exploratory visit to Saudi Arabia took the minister and his entourage to different organizations in different cities. In Jubal Industrial City, the president of the Royal Commission for Jubal and Jambu, Abdullah bin Ibrahim Al Sa'adan, and his strategic team took the minister on a guided tour of the gigantic project complex. At the National Industrial Development and Logistics Center, the projection is to turn Saudi Arabia to a world hub of logistics strategy. Both countries have nominated their respective OPEC governors to quickly come up with a draft MOU for signing. The Saudi Energy Minister also communicated the blessings of the King and the Crown Prince for the partnership investment, while announcing their readiness to sign the MOU with the Nigerian President, Muhammadu Buhari. From Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Senate is to send a delegation to the British Embassy to condole with the British government over the murder of its citizen, Faye Money, in Kaduna. This followed a motion of urgent public importance, which also resolved to invite the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, to brief the Senate on increasing cases of kidnapping in Nigeria. Ignatius Nkwo tells us more.
Well, this motion was first presented at Wednesday's plenary on that matter of personal explanation. But because of the sensitivity of that motion, the Senate, in its wisdom, resolved that Senator Shehu Sani, who presented it, should represent the motion as matter of urgent public importance to enable senators express their feelings. And today, the senator has presented the motion with quite a number of resolutions. Well, I have him here. He is here to tell us some of the resolutions that are contained in that motion. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, that motion today has been taken as matter of urgent public importance, and senators have actually spoken. Now, tell us some of the contents of that motion.
First of all, that motion was intended to bring to spotlight the reality of killings and kidnappings in northern Nigeria, and also provide solutions that the parliament and the executive can take in terms of finding solutions to them. And these solutions include compelling the telecommunication companies to do everything possible to provide information that where these kidnappers are. And secondly, it's also about the need to have a special task force, joint interagency task force, that will take this war to the kidnappers.
Well, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we still have here the Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Aliu Sabi Abdullahi.
But suffice it to say that as of today,
one of the key resolutions is to get the new Acting Inspector General of Police to actually come and tell us the successes being recorded so far. But beyond that, also to actually commiserate with those who have been affected, and in particular the British government. And at a practical level, I think we as an institution, as a Senate, we believe we must begin to look at the legislative framework that will support better security. Thank you very much for your time. Right. Well, the Senate also urged the federal government to immortalize late Justice Mamman Nasiri by naming a national monument in his honor. This is what we have for you at the moment.
The House of Representatives has resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate alleged non-remittance of stamp duty charges by deposit money banks running into trillions of naira. Tabled at plenary as a matter of urgent public importance, the lawmakers expressed concern that banks charge 50 naira on customers as stamp duty for certain transactions, but fail to forward the amount to the Federation account. The House also passed for second reading a bill to repeal and reenact the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act and a bill for an act to establish Federal Institutes for Industrial Research. Details in subsequent bulletins. Now, the importance of health records to patient care, human resource and personal health management is being advocated for by healthcare services groups. National Assembly correspondent Omotola Omojola reports that this was at a public hearing by House Committee on Health Services on a bill to reenact health information management in Nigeria and a bill for an act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria.
The hearing, which looked at the intrinsic benefits of health records management in the country, also aims at ensuring best practices in Nigeria's health sector for universal health coverage.
Without any doubt, efficient healthcare data management will help us to improve research policy making and policy decision in our healthcare.
Where the medical and health record cannot be located, the patient may suffer delay in treatment, be exposed to medical errors and repetitions of treatment, denying of patient rights, waste of time, money, and even event death.
Whether you are the health records, health information officers, you are chartered chemists, you are doctors, you are nurses, everybody is coming on board to ensure that Nigeria achieves this universal health coverage.
On a bill to amend the Institute for Chartered Chemists Act, the public hearing provided room for robust debate on different dimensions to chemical handling in Nigeria, ranging from Medicare, education, security to policy formulation.
The proposed amendment will enhance sustainable use of chemicals as an inevitable tool that will play an effective role in the management of chemical security in Nigeria.
Look at most of these bumpers in this country, they use chemicals.
It's not just explosive, but even the toxic ones, and we must begin to prepare for the future.
The health of people is at risk if you don't start managing chemicals based on a life cycle approach.
The passage of these two important bills will be a stepping stone towards the reformation of our health sector in providing quality patient care that will match up to international standards.
Submissions also emphasized proper implementation of the proposed bills if passed into law for positive impact on society. From the National Assembly, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
House Committee on Pension monitors verification exercise. Dotun in Lagos has more on these and other stories trending in our Lagos Network Center.
Thank you, Foma, and welcome to Lagos. The first phase of verification for pensioners and next of kin in federal government parastatals, agencies and institutes under the defunct Defined Benefit Scheme, DBS, has commenced in Lagos. Annie Daniels reports that the House Committee members on pension were on ground to supervise the exercise.
Gathered here are Nigerian retirees who have served in various federal government agencies and parastatals. This verification exercise by the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, is to correct the observed anomalies as well as streamline the payments of pensioners and gratuities of these pensioners under the mandate. On ground to supervise the exercise, we are members of the House Committee on Pensions.
The money is already there. We have appropriated the money. If they have any areas, Peter will take care of everything. Immediately after the competition, a month to 3 months, they will start receiving their alerts. They should be rest assured.
With this process, issues like under and overpayments are regularized. Duplicated payments and ghost pensioners are eliminated. Accurate, credible and digitized database of pensioners under the Defined Benefit Scheme, DBS, is established, and records of next of kin for payments is updated.
The exercise is very simple today now. It's not like those who they used to do before, which is very rough. But this one now is orderly.
The people who are brought, they are very polite. They address me as an aged person, and I understand them the way they behave.
The exercise will be replicated in all 6 geopolitical zones of the country and is expected to last for 6 months. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is advocating the adoption of biometric identity as a way of reducing cases of human trafficking and smuggling of migrants within the sub-region. At a campaign which kicked off in Lagos, ECOWAS says the biometric identity card will also serve as an alternative to the conventional ECOWAS passport. Michael Olaleye reports.
This is the popular Maitu Motor Park in Lagos, a famous terminal for commuters plying the West African route. From the long, frustrating faces of drivers at this park, it is easy to draw a conclusion on how it feels traveling along the strategic ECOWAS corridor.
We, Ghana cars, they are collected 2,000 naira. From here, from Lagos to Idiruku, if you want to spend money, you are spending money too much.
This sensitization campaign on the ECOWAS national biometric identity is giving an answer to the question of free movement raised by drivers and commuters.
For those of us who cannot acquire a passport, at least once you get the card, you should be able to travel within the ECOWAS space.
Since the ECOWAS Free Movement Protocol was launched in 2000, only 3 countries have adopted the national biometric identity. This campaign in Nigeria is targeting motor parks based on the assumption that most cases of human trafficking and smuggling of migrants start from strategic points like the Maitu Motor Park.
The National Biometric ID card is a very good tool to increase movement within the ECOWAS space.
The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons is adopting a carrot and stick strategy to check the menace.
You use your vehicle to carry victims of trafficking, we will seize your vehicles, confiscate them, freeze your accounts. So please be warned.
The International Organization for Migration is interested in using free and regular migration to unlock the potentials in the sub-region. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
Internet and social media have become a part of human existence. With its widespread and acceptance also comes issues of online piracy, freedom of expression and access to the online space. Ruth Ariyo Samuel was at a forum in Lagos where 352 delegates from 32 African countries converged to prefer solutions to internet challenges confronting their countries.
Digital rights describes the human rights that allow individuals access, use, create, and publish digital media or to access and use computers and electronic devices. It also relates to the protection and realization of existing rights, such as the right to privacy or freedom of expression. However, in Africa, these rights are not recognized as access to the internet is still an issue.
I see people reporting, for instance, public infrastructure that are dysfunctional, bridges that are about to fall, and forcing public officials to take corrective measures. And I think this is positive ways of using the internet.
There's wider access to internet. People are becoming more aware of the need to engage through social media and different platforms. So far, it's pretty good.
Convener of the 7th Digital Rights and Inclusion Forum, while commending the role cyberspace plays in advancing countries and development, said Nigeria will go a long way if the internet is used as a growth driver.
Connecting young people to opportunities and also making sure we protect those spaces so that when they get connected digitally, it is not about clampdowns, it is not about watching your back, but also about expressing yourself freely.
I feel we're not really embracing it as a positive force, as a way of enabling human rights. So some sense of common priorities that we can then actually focus on and try and measure progress.
Paradigm Initiative is a non-profit social enterprise that builds ICT-enabled support systems for young people in order to improve their livelihood. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. It's back to Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Dotun. Now, the Nigeria Police Force Abia State Command has launched Operation Puff Adder in Aba to tackle the rising cases of kidnapping, armed robbery and other forms of crime in the state. Good News Ara reports that the commercial city is the first after the state capital to have the operation kicked off.
The new operation, which is in line with the directive of Inspector General of Police Adamu Muhammad to check banditry and kidnapping, is another landmark in policing Abia State. Abia State Commissioner of Police Etin Ene Okon says cities have witnessed incessant crime wave with cases of armed robbery and kidnapping after the general elections.
Flagging off of this operation today is a launching pad to stamping out kidnapping. We have all the strategies put in place.
The command enjoined officers to be of good conduct while the exercise lasts and sent warnings to criminals to surrender or leave the city. They urged the public to avail them with useful information to succeed. In Aba, Good News Chemaga, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari says the critical development projects being undertaken by his government in the Northeast would make resettlement and resumption of their livelihoods easier for internally displaced persons in the region. The president says this during a working visit to commission some projects in Borno State. His first point of call upon touching down in Maiduguri was the palace of the Shehu of Borno, Alhaji Umar Garba El Amin El Kanami. The president said under his administration, the Nigeria Air Force has largely degraded elements of Boko Haram insurgents in the region, noting that in collaboration with other partners, the resettlements of IDPs in their communities are ongoing. He promised that Leah Sharibu and other schoolgirls abducted from Dapchi and Chibok will soon be rescued and reunited with their families. Thereafter, President Buhari proceeded to inaugurate the ultra-modern radio diagnostic center in Maiduguri, as well as the Muhammadu Buhari
primary level is appointed by the governor. It is essential to give priority attention to primary school level in order to lay a solid and firm foundation towards ensuring quality and formidable education at the tertiary level in line with international best practices. Your Excellencies and gentlemen, Borno State focusing on education is very imperative due to the peculiar security challenges posed by Boko Haram, whose ideology is dramatically opposed to Western education.
The people of Borno, and indeed the Northeast, are eternally indebted to you for the empathy, support you have rendered to our people. On our part, we shall continue to pray for their success and provide them with update on any perceived security threats.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Plateau State has suspended its chairman, Mr. Damishi Shango, and his deputy, Mr. Amos Gombi Goyol, over some allegations. Consequently, the Vice Chairman, Plateau North, Mr. Chris Hassan, has been appointed as the party's acting chairman in the state. Ekemeren Keneng Ladoja reports.
Briefing journalists at the party secretariat, the publicity secretary of the party, John Akans, explained that a vote of no confidence was passed on the state chairman and his deputy by the party. Mr. Akans said the resolution to suspend Mr. Sango was based on the grounds that the resources sent to the state for the presidential elections were unaccounted for, and that monies raised and saved by the party to help internally displaced persons are also not accounted for. Other issues raised was the high-handedness of the chairman and deputy chairman, which has caused confusion in the party, as well as disregard for critical party key players. Mr. Akans said Chris Hassan will take over the leadership of the party as acting state chairman, and that the national secretariat of the party, security agencies have been copied. State executive members of the party cutting across the 3 senatorial zones in the state were present at the briefing. In Jos, Ekemeren Kaneng Ladoja, NTA News.
The Court of Appeal, Abuja, has commenced hearing in the appeal filed by the Osun State Governor, Gboyega Oyetola, against Ademola Adeleke's victory at the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. Olabode Arewa reports that the appellants are challenging the verdict of the tribunal, which voted his electoral victory.
The incumbent governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola, and his party, the All Progressives Congress, filed separate appeals, saying that the tribunal erred when it cited the alteration of the results sheets of the election by INEC electoral officers as the major reason for declaring Ademola Adeleke as the winner of the election. Citing Section 138 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, Wole Oladipekun, Akin Olujimi, and Yusuf Ali, senior advocate of Nigeria, said the fact that alteration of the result sheets from ECATA were not part of Adeleke's arguments at the tribunal. Adeleke's counsel, Onyechi Ikweazu, SAN, said overvoting, non-recording of voters' accreditation, and alteration of the results after the election had taken place validated the tribunal's view. The 5-man panel, led by Justice Jumai Sankey, deferred ruling on the preliminary objections of the parties to the petition. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
The monthly meeting of the Forum of Security Spokespersons has commenced in Abuja with a focus on enhanced communication management between agencies. Naja Atutijani reports.
Key stakeholders in security agree that Nigeria's evolving security challenges are in need of new strategies to tackle the problems. And as these stakeholders meet, top on the agenda is the management of information. This focus on information management, the stakeholders say, is critical to blocking threats and reducing risk in protecting human and other assets.
There are discordant tones among the various security and response agencies in Nigeria whenever there are issues of crisis and conflicts in the country. Public relation and information officers of the agencies will be meeting regularly from time to time so that they harmonize certain information that will be available to the public.
And of course, for promoting the very, very much desired synergy that will require, or that is required, so to speak, by the security agencies.
As these partner agencies put heads together to tackle the evolving challenges to national security, it is expected that the innovative strategies they will adopt after the meeting will be the new standard in security management. Naja Atutijani, NTA News.
Still talking security, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, has ordered that the shift duty structure of the Nigerian Police Force, which is currently 12-hour 2 shifts system, be reverted with immediate effect to 8-hour 3 shift standards. The directive is informed by the need to address the incidences of misuse of firearms and other extrajudicial actions by police personnel attributable to work-related stress and emotional conditions which disorientate their rationality. The acting IGP stated this at the conference of the heads of Nigeria police medical facilities in Abuja, which focus on providing universal health coverage with emphasis on mental health and management of job-related stresses. The acting IGP says the police medical services must review and strengthen its institution towards intervening in national emergencies.
It's helpful as a socio-medical component of policing and as a strategic vehicle that will be utilized by the current police leadership to achieve 2 fundamental objectives. First, to propel the attainment of our community policing vision. Second, to aid in enhancing the emotional, psychological, physical, and mental well-being of all the police personnel.
The Minister of Health has put in place several structures to ensure that health is fully developed so that we can provide quality health care for Nigerians.
And police launches Operation Puff Adder in Enugu. Let's join Comfort in Enugu for more.
Thank you, Ifoma, and welcome to Enugu. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Adamu Abubakar Muhammad, has officially launched Operation Puff Adder in Enugu State. Okechukwu Agubama reports that the exercise is initiated to boost security system in the country.
Represented by the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State, CP Suleiman Bararabe, stated that Operation Puff Adder is aimed at the providing solution to some topical security challenges in the state, such as armed robbery and kidnapping, and is a coordinated strategy in combating crime in the state. He added that the operation will go a long way in stemming the tide of cases of armed robbery around Afa Egede Road, Umoloba, and Afa Technical School Road.
We will continue with the operation launch now. With the personnel we have seen here, they will definitely go and fight this in the state in general.
The 92 personnel of the Operation Puff Adder in the state were drawn from the Police Mobile Force, Counter-Terrorism Unit, Anti-Cultism Unit, and Anti-Kidnapping Unit. There were various demonstrations by the personnel highlighting their level of preparedness to embark on the operation. In Enugu, Okechukwu Agobama, NTA News.
Drug abuse has become a global phenomenon with different countries telling their different stories. In some countries, the issue of cocaine abuse is on the front burner, while in some others, like Nigeria, cannabis and the issue of tramadol and abuse of some other substances has become worrisome. Beauty Ehobame takes a holistic look at this social menace and the way out.
In 2019, statistics has it that the prevalence rate of substance abuse in Nigeria is about 13 million people between the ages of 15 and 64, with reports being rife of youth in the charts. Consequences of drug abuse are mostly negative and, in the worst case, fatal. A recent example is the death of 3 students of the Federal University of Technology, FUTO, the only female being a student of the Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, who died after taking India hemp and tramadol. According to experts, abuse of drug can, on the long run, result to schizophrenia, mental disorder, stroke, cardiac arrest, and eventual death.
Facts of drug abuse on the youths is actually multifactorial. Medically, when you take drugs, like some of the drugs, they can actually elevate the blood pressure suddenly. That's in medicine, we talk about the immediate and long-term problems.
Abuse of hard drugs, according to experts, also has negative implications for the society. The commander, NDLEA Enugu State Command, says to curb this trend in the state, about 300 grams of cannabis, 100 grams of ephedrine, 800 grams of methamphetamine, and 9.9 grams of cocaine have been impounded by the agency between January and March this year.
We have arrested 20. Out of the 23 suspects, we have male 20 suspects and female we have 3.
Experts advocate that all factors that make drug abuse prevalent should be addressed because of the threat it portends to the society. In Enugu, Beauty Egobamie, NTA News.
The Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has said it will do anything within its means to ensure that the Ilen football legend Christian Chukwu gets the best of treatment. NFF President Amadu Pinnick stated this in Enugu during the presentation of cash donations to Mr. Chukwu by the Chief Executive Officer CEO of Fort Oil, Chief Femi Otedola, for his medical treatment abroad. Susan Eze has the details.
The NFF president, Amoju Melvin Pinnick, and the representatives of Fort Oil visited the Enugu residence of the football legend, Christian Chukwu, accompanied by the Enugu State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. Pinnick, going down memory lane of Chukwu's football career from his days in Rangers International, said Christian Chukwu blazed the trail, making the nation proud. Hence, it is only proper that the nation show him love in his time of need. With a cash donation of $50,000, Pinnick assured that NFF will follow through to ensure that Chukwu gets the best treatment in London.
Femi Otedola has redeemed his pledge in ensuring that whatever is needed to take him to the hospital abroad has just been given to the family. So we are very thankful to him.
Meanwhile, Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi gave Chukwu's son automatic employment as an engineer in the state civil service. Pinnick also announced an ambassadorial appointment by NFF for Christian Chukwu. Speaking through their son, Emeka Christian Chukwu Jr., the family appreciated the gift and the kindness shown to them by Chief Otedola, the NFF, and Enugu State Government. Christian Chukwu was former Super Eagles coach and captain. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Enugu. Is back to Ifoma in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Comfort. The Buhari Media Organization supports the establishment of a university in Adamawa by the wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Buhari. The group believes that the negative comments on the initiative could only have resulted from poor perception and misunderstanding of the objectives behind the planned institution. In a statement signed by its chairman, Niyi Akinsiju, the groups or persons making decisive comments against the initiative of the wife of the president do not understand her motive and concepts. The group says the university would be funded by donations, hence the need for support in that regard. BMO noted that the university, which targets women and girl child, would be specialized in science and course of study that are generally lagging behind in that part of Nigeria. Beginning from 1st of June, the Federal Road Safety Corps is to commence full implementation of the penalty point system on traffic offenders. A statement by the Corps Public Education Officer, BC Kazim, says the Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi said this during a critical summit on information technology at the national headquarters, Abuja. Accordingly, offenders who violate traffic regulations for a stipulated number of times will be sent back to driving schools for a retraining while others will be subjected to compulsory community services according to number of offences committed. He explained that the penalty point system is already operational in most safety-conscious countries of the world to deter motorists from traffic violation. According to the statement, if a driver receives a statutorily maximum number of points, the driver shall be warned or have his license suspended or withdrawn for between 1 to 10 points offence. The offender pays a certain amount of money as fines, while a warning notification is to be issued to a traffic offender who has accumulated 10 to 14 points penalty. We now pause for some messages. Nationwide continues shortly. Stay with us.
People get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thanks for staying tuned. Accurate data system and quality health care remain key factors in reducing maternal and prenatal mortality in the world, especially in developing countries. These were some of the recommendations by speakers during the launch of the Maternal and Prenatal Database Platform to improve quality of care during childbirth in Nigerian health institutions. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Globally, the cry of a newborn signals hope, joy, and a brighter future for mankind in general. For the family and society, the new life becomes a new dawn. Hence, the need to protect the mother and her child before and after delivery in order to reduce maternal and perinatal deaths. This gathering at the instance of the Health Ministry and World Health Organization provides a platform for stakeholders in the sector to come up with integrated evidence database systems to be harmonized for accessibility within zones and country levels in the promotion of healthcare delivery. Poverty, hypertension, unsafe abortion, and delivery outside primary health facility have been identified as risk factors. With the launch of the scheme, no woman must die when given life, as this is one of the priorities of the present administration.
The federal government of Nigeria, in an effort to promote the health of Nigerian mothers and children, is currently implementing the revised basic midwife service scheme with the ultimate goal of ensuring the survival of mothers and their newborn through the provision of skilled birth attendants by recruiting and deploying midwives to underserved areas, improving referral and transportation system, especially where we have high burden of maternal and newborn deaths.
What this will do different is that it will have sort of standardized variables that can be comparable in all the hospitals. That is more linked and more, we used to have sort of hard copies, and so this is an electronic platform. That is simple to use.
To change the narrative, experts maintained that dissemination of data within health facilities, as well as regular medical checks, will reduce the alarming figure. Medical practitioners suggest that obstetric care be made available to pregnant women across the country, as this will go a long way in addressing maternal and perinatal health issues. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And Plateau State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Kudin Kamshak, has made a case for eradicating vaccine-preventable diseases through routine immunization and tackling societal impediments to AIDS. The commissioner gave this indication at a press briefing marking the 2019 African Vaccination Week in Plateau State. Abdul Wahab Babakanti reports.
The African Vaccination Week is celebrated annually in the month of April in order to create awareness and raise consciousness on the need to fully protect women of childbearing age and children less than 5 years.
And the aim is just to promote the use of vaccines, to know that vaccines can protect people of all ages, irrespective of race, irrespective of religion, against what we call vaccines preventable diseases.
The commissioner explained that achieving universal healthcare coverage means that all people, no matter their socio-economic status, can access and afford quality healthcare services, and immunization is key in this cause. Giving a spotlight of achievements, Dr. Kuden Kamshak added that immunization remains the best protection against the 6 childhood killer diseases, as well as pneumonia, amongst others. He stressed that in the world over, immunization currently avert an estimated 2 to 3 million deaths every year. An additional 1.5 million deaths could be avoided if global vaccination coverage improves. In Jos, Abdul Babankanti, NTA News.
Farmers in Benue State have made a case for modern farm inputs to boost production as they commence agricultural activities after the commencement of rains in the state. Charles Abba completes the report.
That Benue State is known for its appellation food basket of the nation is not a fluke. This continues to manifest itself in different farm produce like rice, yam, tomato, among others. It is to maintain this status that farmers in Benue State consistently engage themselves in agricultural activities when the rains set in, as to ensure food supply and security. Little Dorothy and her mother, Celestina Hassan, are using bare hands to clear grasses preparatory to their cassava and maize farm.
Now chemicals go help me, this thing go fine. Fertilizer, chemicals were always sprayed on the grasses where grasses no go overgrow the crop.
James Teso and young David, who are already cultivating the land for their crops, appeal to the relevant authorities to assist them with farm inputs for better yields.
When government make available certain credit scheme, credit facility where people can access loan, it will really go a long way to help them put 1 or 2 things in place in view of agriculture, and it will help us.
Director of Agriculture, Thomas Nango, and Principal Special Advisor to the Governor on Food Security, Dorcas Ukwe, assured farmers of timely provision of fertilizer, herbicides, and improved seeds this planting season. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
The Ondo State Industrial Hub will generate over 20,000 direct and indirect employment opportunities when working at its full capacity. Wife of the state governor, Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu said this during an inspection of the hub situated at Omotosho in Odibo local government area of the state. Olubumi Oke reports.
The industrial hub came into being by the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Ondo State government and the Chinese company. The hub already has over 15 different companies for operations, of which are in wood processing, textile, exploration, and agriculture. Mrs. Akeredolu said she was in the hub with her team, Forum of Wives of State Officials and Women Appointees, FOWOSO, to assess the giant strides of the government.
Aketi is a man of integrity. Aketi is a man that has sincerity of purpose, working to develop Ondo State, working to take Ondo State to the next level.
She urged women to task themselves on what they could do to benefit from the industrial hub and other initiatives of the administration aimed at empowering all segments of the state. Mrs. Akeredolu also inspected the ongoing Ore flyover, which, when completed, will further boost commercial activities of Ore, being a gateway to the eastern part of the country, and as well reduce accident rates on the Lagos-Ore-Benin Expressway. In Akure, Olubumi Oke, NTA News.
Entrenchment of merit, professionalism and patriotism in public service is the way to go in ensuring that plans, policies and projects of government are executed effectively and efficiently. This view is shared by participants at the first inaugural lecture for the former head of service of the Western Region, Chief Joseph Imokede, who was the first secretary to the government and head of civil service of the defunct Midwest region. Experts at the lecture identified nepotism, undue politicization and lack of training as challenges facing modern public servants. They want concrete measures to attract and retain the best brains in the Nigerian civil service.
Unique opportunity in Nigeria today. 20 years of democracy. Luckily, we've gotten it right in that respect. We have a team of leaders today. Let's stop digression. Don't let us start. Let us face the future. Between now and 2030, what do we need to get right?
The guest speaker, Professor Tunji Olaokpa, emphasized the need to revisit positive aspects of Nigeria's history in selfless public service delivery.
Not just the crafting of a strong public service reform strategy, which is, we have more than enough, but one matched with competently implemented change management strategy.
The forum also stressed the need for teamwork and leadership, by example, by managers in the public service. Another break beckons. We will be back in a moment.
Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
We, the members of Mwalusi family of Ngene Village, Amobia, Okasa local government area of Anambra State, announce the death of our wife, sister, aunt, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, late Mrs. Josephine Aduke Ige Mwalusi Iyawo Ni Adesire, who answered the divine call on the 22nd of January 2019, aged 82 years. Burial arrangements, Friday, 24th April 2019, by 8 a.m., lying in state at her husband's compound, 9 Enugu Agidi Road, Amobia. 10 a.m., funeral service at her husband's compound, Amobia. Interment follows immediately after service at her husband's compound. Saturday, 27th, condolence visit by in-laws, friends, and well-wishers. Sunday, 28 by 10 a.m. Thanksgiving service at St. Peter's Anglican Church, Amobia. Mama, may your soul rest in peace. Amen. Mr. Arakwe W. Mwalusi, for the family. Announcer.
Now, it is said that education is the bedrock of every nation. This was the focus of the inauguration of an Abuja-based school of pension and retirement planning, whose vision is to improve human capacity development through education.
The aim of the School of Pension and Retirement Planning in Wuse, Abuja, is in response to the growth and far-reaching implication of pension as a means of livelihood to millions of Nigerians and its role of financial intermediation and influence on economic development.
Having as its major objective contributing towards education and career roadmap in pension administration and management, I sincerely and wholeheartedly congratulate the visionary spirit of the promoters of this institution.
Encourage innovation, enterprise, and ingenuity, especially in the educational sector.
With the analysis of the pension industry formal sector participants and the pension funds and assets, which cumulatively constitute a significant proportion of the Nigerian financial sector, this emphasized the need for academic training and research for the general well-being of the country.
We are part of the birthing process of this institution because we were part of the team that developed the curriculum.
To the founder of the institute, Musa Ibrahim, the inauguration marks a significant milestone in the educational development of Nigeria at large.
Every organization will have to be able to educate people in terms of retirement life, and every organization should be able to inculcate some entrepreneurship skills in people when they are working, so that when they leave work, because people are living longer and longer now, they should be able to have capability of doing certain things. If you don't, then you're going to have a miserable retirement, and we think this school is going to assist in that at a very national level to provide those things.
In Abuja, Bossede Ebo, NT News.
For teachers and instructors in developing countries to catch up with advanced societies, there is need for paradigm shift in the way they impact knowledge to learners. This was the position of a university lecturer, Katrina Kopp of Department of Educational Foundation, University of Jos, a conference on education administration, innovative teaching strategies organized by Chartered Institute of Educational Practitioners, UK. Speaking on when the drummers change their beats, the dancers must also change their steps. Teaching strategies in the 21st century, the university don said more questions should be put to learners to elicit their curiosity and make the environment more interactive and teacher and learner friendly.
Is to identify what are their current ideas. Because in children's everyday experiences, they get ideas about the natural world, about mathematics, about English. And so one of the roles of the teacher is to identify what do children already know and how can we guide them to know more, but then also how can we correct some of their misconceptions.
The idea of organizing this conference is to expose Nigerians to the new innovative ways most of these teaching they do in Nigeria are done overseas. It's just bridging the gap basically between the overseas educational system and Nigeria educational system.
Nigerian business communities have been urged to avail themselves with the opportunities provided by the African Growth and Opportunity Act in the interest of increase in the country's foreign exchange earnings and economic growth. This came to the fore at the sensitization program on African Growth and Opportunity Act held in Sokoto. Abdul Rahman Usman Jibrila completes the story.
African Growth and Opportunity Act is a United States of America statutory trade preference law that allows sub-Saharan African countries to export duty and quota-free 6,500 goods to the United States. It was signed into law by the Trade and Development Act in 2000 with a view to promoting increased access and opportunities for United States investors and businesses in sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria is one of the sub-Saharan African countries participating in the program since 2000. This informed the decision of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to go around the country to further sensitize Nigerians to know more about the benefits of the program.
Nigerian exporters could export their products to the USA duty and quota free, which makes their products more competitive than other countries that have to pay duties.
Accessing finance and credit facilities remain a nightmare to manufacturers, exporters, and small and medium enterprises. Hence, many Nigerians cannot benefit from it.
From registration to documentation to everything is easy. Even what you pay in terms of registering and the rest, we want to bring it down so that the cost of doing business will be reduced.
Currently, there are about 6,500 products eligible to be exported to the United States of America under the African Growth and Opportunity Act. The scheme, scheduled to end in 2015, is now extended to 2025. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
And reports just reaching us states that President Muhammadu Buhari has proceeded to the United Kingdom on a private visit. He is expected to return to Nigeria on May 5th, 2019. And for the latest in the world of sports, let's join Ayodeji Makinde on sports updates.
Attention shifts to the second phase of the 2019 All-Africa Senior Badminton